Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan. And, I was going to start off with this by talking about our Friday nights, but you were very drunk. I was playing D&D. And, yeah.
Although last night was the closest I got to doing karaoke ever in my life. The closest. And
how
also,
many drinks in were you?
I was 4.
Oh.
I was 4 years old. No, but one guy, I think he was alone, which is interesting. But he came around, he did Tiny Dancer, and as everybody knows, Almost Famous is my favorite movie. And so we all had a good sing-along thing, and I showed him my tattoo.
Hell yeah.
And so it's we had a great time. I didn't know how I sounded on the mic though, because he went around like gave everyone the mic. I'm just like, Tiny Dancer, so like. Oh. I wasn't sure if I sounded good or not, so that's what kind of helped me back.
That's what drunk karaoke is for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And otherwise, had a fun time though.
Yeah. Nice.
How was D&D?
D&D was good. A lot of weird things that I talked about with you but John is quite the character in D&D.
Yes.
If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know John. John's Combat Corner.
Where the fuck is everybody?
Yeah, I know. It was good. So. This week, Blink Twice, or
yes.
Joker 2, or Joker. What did we pick?
We picked Blink Twice.
Yeah. Mainly because we just watched Joker this week.
Yeah, also, Blink Twice turned out to be surprisingly good. Mm-hmm. I wasn't I went into this movie blind. I'm not sure about you. I
was completely blind.
Yeah, so quite the shocker going to see this movie. I just knew Channing Tatum was in it, and I thought it was going to be a murder mystery kind of glass onion thing.
I mean, it definitely had a glass onion vibe to it. Also, like promising young woman and
yep.
What's the other one?
Get Out, maybe.
Get Out. Yeah, it's a mix of those three, and man.
Yeah.
Man. It's a very good psychological thriller. But before we keep getting into all this, let's get to it. So, Blink Twice, this is a director's movie, first and foremost. It's Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut, but she also made a lot of very good decisions. It's not really it is an acting movie, but it's more of a directing movie to me, because there's lots of these little edits here and there. The editing, for sure, is like very spliced together, and it kind of makes the tension build better, suspense. It's very well put together in that aspect. So it's the rewatchability on that aspect is really cool. Mm-hmm. Everything else,
yeah. So
I wouldn't say so.
My review. Let me pull up my review on Letterboxd.
Okay.
I think I said something where it was like it's deeper than. Oh yeah, we don't have any Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Please stand by.
It's deeper than I think people are going to give it credit for. Deeply disturbing in a few other ways. Mm-hmm. Not one I would want to watch again for content reasons, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's pretty accurate. I mean, Naomi Ackie, she's the star. She's really good. Channing Tatum has a really good scene in the movie. He's kind of just there for the most part until midway through, but then he really gets going.
Then becomes a character in and of itself.
And that girl from Arrested Development, Aaliyah
Shawkat.
She was very good as well. Mm-hmm. And
I like her. I want her to be in more things, but I feel like this happens to her, where she's sort of just out of focus of the movie. Like, I don't think people are going to remember that she's like in this movie.
Yeah, she was really only in the first third of the movie. I mean,
yeah,
so she's kind of like an extended cameo, I'd say.
Yeah, she plays these types of roles where like. And I forgot all the other movies. I know she was in Search Party where she's the main character. I didn't see that one. But then I think there's a few more personalities in that show that kind of take the spotlight from her. And like I really liked her as Maybe. And even in Arrested Development, I don't think she got enough screen time. She didn't have enough storylines of just her.
Was she in every season?
Yeah, she was. But it's like I feel like people are going to remember.
She was Fuenke's wife, wasn't she?
The daughter.
Oh, the daughter.
Yeah, well, their daughter.
Oh, I don't know why I thought she was the wife. Anyway.
Yeah, I think his wife is Ellen's wife, actually. Interesting. I didn't know that like she was a lesbian too.
Gotcha.
It was a like, oh, damn.
Okay.
She's added it to like the pantheon of like gay actors playing very straight people, like Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, I want Aaliyah Shawkat to do more stuff. I really like her.
Yeah, And then also, who is it? Oh God, yeah, Adria Arona, the one who's from Hitman. She's been in a lot of stuff recently, and she's real good too.
Bix. And Hitman, like, I love that movie so much. But like, damn, I'm so jealous of those two actors. Mm-hmm. They're the two most attractive people I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap, dude!
Yep.
You know, and then they come together, and Hitman, and it's a really good movie. You should go see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now Glenn Powell is in that Chad Powers TV show, and I'm just like, stop.
Wait,
Chad Powers is a thing in football maybe a few years ago where Eli Manning went onto the field as a recruit. That was a transfer.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's what this movie's about. It's like Glenn Powell's like an older...
No, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a cool idea for a TV show. So that's going to be cool.
Like a less serious Invincible.
Oh, also, Haley Joel Osment. He was also in the movie.
You're right. I like him too.
Yeah.
This movie had a bunch of like actors, and at first I thought, because when they're at the gala, I thought they were just gonna be cameos. Like Christian Slater's here. What's his name? Rex something. Oh, he's from Scary Movie 3.
Simon Rex.
Simon Rex. Yeah. He's just there. You know, like haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah, Gina Davis.
There. Haven't seen her in a minute.
McLaughlin.
Yep.
Yeah, like there's the captain.
Yeah.
The cast is really good for especially Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. Like she got a lot of people in this. It's literally like they all just came together.
Oh god.
Anyway, so let's get into that.
Well, the title was going to be Pussy Island.
Yes.
Which after watching this,
that was when this movie was announced.
Wow. Okay.
Or when they were writing it, at least.
I think that was a horrible name for it. For the context,
I don't think
of everything, and everyone in the letterbox is like, I wish it was called Pussy Island.
I don't think the MPAA would allow that.
True.
At least without it being, like X-rated or something.
Yeah, I think the closest thing was like we got the Pussy Wagon from Kill Bill, but I can't really remember anything that's like pussy is in the title. Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh yeah,
you were talking about the editing.
Yes.
I think I really so the editing, of course. Great. Mm-hmm. But I think the sound design.
Yeah, you were mentioning
that's a different. It's weird. It's harsh, and it would almost be considered bad sound design in like any other movie. But like this is, it's like a type of sound design that has character. So it's like it kind of feels like in your face, not really mixed that well. But like that's like the harshness of.
Well, yeah, because it's like the editing is kind of harsh too. Like it cuts back and forth between 2 different days at some points. Mm-hmm. Like because you
really don't know
time. You don't know what's going on. Like it's a really cool idea, and I think they executed it pretty well in this movie.
Yeah, and I'd say this is like Don't Worry, Darling.
I was thinking the exact same thing before the movie was like, I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be Don't Worry, Darling again.
Yeah, but like this is the way to do it.
Yeah,
I think it's. And I'll get into it later at how I think this movie's deeper than just the surface level that I think Don't Worry, Darling kind of ended up being.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also wild thing that I just discovered yesterday.
Okay.
I was at work and I routed one of the RFs to just watching whatever, and I saw Kelly Clarkson was on the channel, and Channing Tatum was doing like an interview and stuff.
Probably the Kelly Clarkson show.
Right, yeah, Kelly, yeah. He's just like promoting the movie and stuff, and then he's like, yeah, so I've usually all the characters that I play, I end up loving some aspect of them, or I love them in general. This guy, nah, he's just an overall monster. Don't like this guy. And Kelly's like, it's like, oh, well, that's interesting, because and I also found out Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz are engaged now, I guess.
Yes.
And Kelly Clarkson said something where it's just like, yeah, so I heard that your wife or your fiance who wrote the movie with another person, she was like thinking of you while she was writing the character. What's your take on that? He says like, yeah, you're gonna have to ask her about that. So I'm like thinking knowing what happens in what he does in this movie, they're just engaged. I feel so bad for this guy. Like that's who she thinks he is.
Yeah, like she purposely cast him in this movie, and they formed their relationship shooting this movie. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's really fucked up.
It's real weird, but hey, I mean, if it works for them right now, sure. But that is not the way I would want to meet my fiance.
Yeah, like it's like And you're writing, like, it's just like, oh, that Channing Tatum guy, he seems like an Epstein type guy. Right?
Yep.
Oh, what the fuck? And then you fall in love with the, like, I don't know, like, Channing Tatum's, say what you will. But the fact that Zoe Kravitz sees him that way, and all of the trauma that, like, is in this movie, like, you get your priorities straight. Like, you know, I don't think you guys should get married, you know. Well, you got some stuff under the surface there.
I mean, maybe that's just work. Maybe they don't take it home with them. I don't know.
I hope so.
I hope not. I hope that's not some kind of weird role play thing. Anyway.
I think it would be really hard if I was an actor to not, you know, because you have to, like, become the character while you're shooting, right?
Most actors, like, do the method.
The method.
The method. So, yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, well, it's ironic that, like, there's another movie that's kind of airing or out right now called It Ends With Us, which that's getting a lot of press for other reasons, with Blake Lively and the director having a spat or whatever. But I just think it's a more, like, ironic or also, like, weird, because that movie, the director's handling the subject material a lot differently than I think that the subject material is being handled in this movie's PR. At least that's just the director of that movie. Like, he's just like, yeah, it's about, you know, domestic violence, and, you know, I had to take a step back, and I didn't like the character I played, and, you know, Channing Tatum's echoing kind of the same thing, but there's definitely not that much attention on, like, see, I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't know anything that was going into it, and and it's a lot of stuff that I'm terrified. It's like, it really is like Get Out. So. And that's another reason why I don't want to watch that movie either.
It's the one reason we haven't done that on this podcast.
Yeah, no, that movie itself was traumatizing. But.
Yeah, no, it is. So let's get into some of the parts, I guess, of this movie. So they all meet at Zoe Kravitz's character Frida meets Channing Tatum's character Slater.
Slater King.
Why do I keep thinking? He get Christian Slater mixed up with his character's name, Slater, which is really annoying. Yeah. Anyway, so Slater and Frida meet at this gala. It's like this whole dream scenario. She's like, oh my God, he meets me, like, and he's invited me to this private island. I'm going to take my friend with me. And it's like all very ethereal, very in your face, like, holy shit, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Then they get to the island. So
and they just start doing so many drugs.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's a party. Like, we're gonna be here for a few days. Okay, why not just
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously it starts off like all, you know, roses, and, you know, it's a lot of fun, and everyone's like partying and stuff. And, like, personally, when they do the MDMA stuff, I'm like thinking, oh boy, like I can't even, because, like, anyone knows me, I don't like doing, like, weed or anything. I don't like smoking weed or taking edibles or anything like that.
Your anxieties.
Because I'm always like, is it going to be like this forever? Oh my God. So that's why I only like pretty much drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So when they started doing like the drops and stuff, I'm like, oh fucking shit. Like, you guys are so screwed.
And then, they're like running around. They start running through the woods, basically. And it's like, it's
when they're having a trip and they're like laughing and stuff.
Yeah. And they fall down laughing or whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. That's where the editing starts. So the editing starts kind of getting a little weird a few days into this. Like, there's also there's a lot of symbolism in this movie that I noticed, especially with, like, the lighter and like who has the lighter.
Yeah, I knew someone was going to come up with that.
And then she kept noticing things like, you know, the dirt under her nails. She's like, where did that come from? Or
like, it's subtle foreshadowing, and I really liked it, and especially like the red rabbit. And the gecko, right in the beginning, the opening shot of the movie is like the gecko.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, and like that's like it's interesting because like most of the time, like I wouldn't really remember a shot like that, or like they'll come back to it and like that was weird. But yeah, something about like that imagery, it just was striking enough to kind of plant itself in my head, and like, it all connects. So I feel like I definitely understand everything this movie was trying to get at.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very tight movie. Yeah. Plot wise,
tight.
Yeah. So Channing Tatum and Slater and Frida start forming this relationship, like even more so than they did at the gala, and it kind of starts not really spiraling, but like her friend, what's her name?
Jess.
Oh, Jess. Yeah, of course it's Jess. All right, so Jess starts kind of freaking out at some point, and she's like, do we know what day it is?
Right. And I didn't put two and two together where she starts with the snake venom. She starts to remember. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
When did she get this? When did she get the snake venom? Because I didn't even see that.
It was like
man, I missed it.
It was like halfway through the movie. Where in Slater's, Christian Slater takes a picture. It's like there's no hospitals here. They just because that's another thing, the motif with the
but like when did she
camera.
drink it? Oh, she got bit. That's
she
right.
got bit.
She
got bit by the snake.
Right.
Which I guess if we're gonna criticize this movie or something, I think it's a bit convenient. You're on this island with this with this magic perfume that makes you forget everything, and that's how the mechanism in which they. I just think it's a little convenient that like there just happens to be a pest problem with all these snakes that just happen to erase the effects of the perfume.
Yeah.
I understand like that's like the mechanic and like there's really not a lot of ways you could take care of that, but it's just interesting. Like I didn't know snake venom could specifically wear that off. It's such an interesting like specific thing.
Hey, it works. It's cool. Then I lost my train of thought. Anyway.
Well, I wanted to go back and talk about Slater a little bit.
Okay.
Or like their dynamic from the start, Frida and Slater, because Frida, we open up on her completely kind of like puppy dog in love, admiring this guy from her phone. I thought it was going to be at first a commentary about like with our, like screen time with our phones and stuff. But he's doing like a talk show thing, kind of like a Barbara Walters type thing, where it's like,
oh yeah,
I've said I'm sorry for everything. I can only have said it so many times it's lost meaning and stuff, and blah blah blah. We don't know what he's sorry for,
nope.
And I just thought it was like either it's probably the point because it's like these days, some celebrities apologizing for some bullshit they did, and he's right. It means nothing at this point. Nobody once you're canceled. It's a long road back, and even if people still don't like Louis C.K., people still don't like Kevin Spacey, and they're even though they're making their way back in, and I have no opinion on anything they've done. But it's a death sentence for your career. So it's interesting that he's just like I'm sorry, and then we'll get to the scene later where and that's the deeper part. Where I think he's a lot more interesting than I think he's going to come across to other people. But Frida's just like already bought in. She doesn't give a shit about any of that. And the irony is that like she is directly the recipient of said trauma. So, and she doesn't even know.
At one point, Jess kind of is like, I need to get out of here. I need to get off this island. And
we don't know why.
Yeah, no, we don't. And then the editing kind of gets weird again. And we're at the next day, basically. And at one point, I think Frida sees the lighter, and she starts, or no, she goes to this cabin where she sees all the red envelope things, and then there's the jar of venom that this woman on the island has. I guess she's just like one of the keepers, or not the keepers, but like the housekeepers.
The ground. Yeah, she's like she's taking care of the pest problem with the snakes. And so one thing, I guess. Where does she stand philosophically with all this stuff happening?
She's tired of it, I feel like, because this seems like it's happening more than just this once.
Yeah.
So it happens a lot.
Yeah, well, she's like, red rabbit. And, but it's also like she's like happy that she's there, but also like then she's like mean to her.
It's weird, yeah.
It's very much like a horror movie, like, you can't trust this person. It's a weird person doing something weird.
Yeah.
And even with the context, I don't understand why she was acting like that.
Very Get Out-ish. Yeah.
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 But at least in that sense, like literally the people doing that were the fucking weird transplanted people.
Yes.
So like there's an excuse there. This is just some lady who doesn't speak English. So I just the forgetting is a gift. I think that's an interesting motif because as somebody who watched Severance, you ever see that movie or that show?
I know.
The whole premise is you have this guy, I think he had like the loss of his wife or something, extreme emotional trauma, and he can't deal with the grief.
Oh wait, yeah, no, I did. Yes, I did watch Severance. Yeah, and they're on the underground office building thing. Yeah.
The switch of so he's two different people now. He's his grieving self where he's outside of work, and then he's his because it was affecting his work.
Yep.
And then he's his work self, and then there's the whole ethics behind: is this right? Is this not right?
Yeah.
And me and Sam were talking about like
Lumen. That's the name of the company.
Lumen. Yeah.
Yes.
me and Sam were talking about how like it would be cool if we could just do that, like flip the switch in our brain, but not forget everything, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you've ever there's movies in TV shows and pieces of entertainment and things and experiences that you enjoy that aren't the same the second time around. Mm-hmm. And everyone's wished
you want to bottle up that first time.
Exactly. Everyone wishes they could just forget the first time and re-experience it.
Oh, that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I wish I could, experience eating this burger for the first time again, So that's where like this kind of desire, it is a gift, right? Mm-hmm. You want to forget certain things. I think there is something to be said about like you want to forget your trauma and you want to move forward. Mm-hmm. So that holds a lot of people back.
Yep.
So there is an ethical, moral, philosophical debate there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the movie stands and like, don't forget. But it's just an interesting kind of mechanic, and that's where the deeper part I'm not sure that's really everyone's going to dive into.
It's really deep, Danny. I have
no
response to that. I was like, I'm just like listening. I was like, oh shit, where did this come from? But damn, yeah, no, you're right. You really dove into that, and it makes a lot of sense. You want to.
I mean, as somebody who has never gone through anything as traumatic as that, which the trigger warning might actually be warranted. I was making fun of it at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Yeah.
And they don't actually show a lot of it. There's just one scene, and then the one girl just kind of screaming for like multiple takes all in one.
Yeah.
That is going to stick with me for a while.
The things that he has given them, the perfume and the I guess all the drugs, it just kind of makes them forget.
The drugs are supposed to be fun, right?
It makes them forget, and then they get taken advantage of, and that's where we'll leave it. And
then like little bits of things under the nails, and
because
like where'd I get this bruise from? And I think it was a little half baked between like this like rivalry between. What's her name? Arjana, or Is it Arjana?
It's Adria.
Adria. Oh, okay. I'm gonna call her Bix from Andor. Okay. So Bix.
Or you just call her Sarah, and for her actual name in the movie.
Oh, it's Sarah. I forgot her name. We got Sarah, Jess, blah, blah, and Frida. Sarah, Jess, and Frida, and the other girls. I didn't like the half baked like rivalry between like it's like this is a one of the poors. She's not allowed to be here. And then she's like oh you're taking advantage of too. Let's band together because we're women.
But I
think that was a little like half baked.
I mean, they had to move the plot forward because it actually moved really slow for the first like 50 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So pacing. Little off there, but as I love to say,
you're a pacing guy.
I'm a big pacing guy, but it still kept me interested the whole time. Obviously, with like the lighter, and then just the mystery itself was engaging enough to keep me interested.
Because I went into this thinking, this is like a murder mystery. Somebody's gonna die and go missing, and I mean, sort of like that.
Probably a good way to promote the movie too. Like it gets people interested because a lot of people like these types of things, especially.
Then you got swindled.
Yeah,
emotional trauma.
Exactly. So now all the characters we find out don't know each other. None of them knew each other. Mm-hmm. And like, so this is a whole plan by these guys, like Haley Joel Osment's character, Channing Tatum's character, and Simon Rex's character. Mm-hmm. All of them basically just fooled these women into coming to the island.
Wait, so are they all friends? All the guys are friends with Channing Tatum?
All the guys are friends.
And okay.
I don't know if the younger guy,
he didn't seem like he was, he definitely chose to forget at least once.
Yeah. So
I thought it was really interesting and nuanced that this movie's trying to take a more objective stance on it because not saying victim blaming or anything.
Yeah.
But I do think it was refreshing to see acknowledgement of Sarah saying, we're kind of idiots because we met these guys at a party. We didn't know them. We went to a private island with them. We gave up our
was like
phones.
a dream scenario type thing. Like, oh my god, we get a chance to do this. Like,
yeah,
we'll
like,
never
you
get
have
this
the
chance
opportunity
again.
and it's like the too good to be true kind of thing. And like, I just like that. Like, it was another angle on it, and like we're getting the full viewpoint. Because any other like lesser movie, I think would just be like, men evil, they're awful. Like
men
evil, women good. Everything women do, no matter, only men bad. So. I like that, like they're acknowledging, like, yeah, we kind of fucked up here a little bit.
Yeah. So that was a good piece of that was revealed. So yeah, I mean, the rest of the movie is just like them getting revenge. Well, Jess and Frida's character getting revenge, because the rest of them are killed.
Well, the one girl gets Christian Slater. Oh well, Haley Joel Osment gets stabbed in the neck.
He gets brutally killed.
Yeah. And that was from the girl who gets what's her name? The one who gets stepped on and choked out by Channing Tatum later.
Oh, that's Camilla.
Camilla, I'm pretty sure she kills him.
Yeah, she probably does.
Yeah, because the one of the blonde girls kills. I think it's like the pothead. The ones. She slaps Christian Slater with a slab of like tile.
Yeah, that was like I was thinking Falcon Winter Soldier right there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know why that's what came to my mind, but here we are. Gina Davis's character. Let's kind of talk about her for a little, because she chose to forget it. She didn't want to remember any of this.
Yep, she's another angle on nuance on this whole thing, where like there's women who are complicit in it, and and again, like it goes down to the philosophy of like, do you want to remember the trauma and move and try to push past it and move forward, or do you want to forget it and be complicit? Well, I mean, those are mutually exclusive, but you can forget your trauma and move forward and not be complicit with it continuing.
Yes.
But Gina, it's his sister, is it his mom, is it his
Nobody
agent?
knows. Nobody knows.
Oh, it could just be like,
it doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
She's just kind of there.
Well, it's hinted at because Slater.
Is it?
It's Slater. He kind of explains his whole reasoning for all this happening and stuff. Where he says, the I'm sorry, that scene.
Yeah.
Which great acting, by the way.
We gotta get to that. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say. Yeah, no.
Because it's like, I love you, and they do like the kisses and stuff, and it seemed like a motherly kind of, or maybe older sister type thing.
I don't know. But yeah, let's get to Channing Tatum.
Well, yeah, Channing Tatum. So he explains his philosophy.
Yes.
And it's implied that he has trauma from his father, or some sort of patriarchal
figure.
Yeah, and so he's like, there's no forgiving.
It's a cycle of abuse.
Exactly. There's no forgiving. There's only forgetting.
Yep.
And on some level, I can understand that, because there's a lot of people who have done me wrong in my life, and I've tried my best to try to forgive them, and I kind of just can't.
So he ends up doing the same thing.
Yeah. So he learns the wrong lesson here, where he doesn't work through it. He doesn't forget. Nope. He just says, "This is who I am," and and obviously, like, there's times in people's lives where like you've unintentionally, been the bad guy in somebody's story, and don't you want to just like forget that experience?
I know, I do.
Yeah. So and he's just he's tried to do it the right way, right? He's like, I'm sorry, I can't take it back. I'm trying my best. I'm still trying to learn, but at the same time, he's just like, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I'll just keep doing it. Fuck it, whatever. And so he's a full blown psychopath and sociopath. But yeah. So then that's his philosophy on it. And then it's interesting. I think Frida, who ends up coming out on top at the end of this, I think it's a tragic ending too. I don't think she learns the right lesson either.
She definitely does not.
Because she just becomes the abuser. And I don't think, and this is where I'm like kind of docking the movie with points. I think it was meant to be a good ending.
I think it was too.
And I think no.
I think, yeah, that's also kind of learning the wrong lesson. But I guess it's kind of like a sort of empowerment movie, so I guess you kind of got to end it in that aspect.
I can understand why they would do that.
Yeah,
but it's also
it's the cycle of abuse.
If we're talking about the cycle of abuse, the way to beat it is to break the cycle.
Yep.
Be the bigger person, and she's just not.
Yep.
And that's why we're going back to Get Out. I think I like Get Out a lot better because it feels better when he. Okay, so imagine like, because there was the original alternate ending.
Yes.
Where he ends up in jail, the police arrest him, and there's more commentary on society, and it really drives that point home. Yep. But nobody would walk away from that movie thinking that was a good movie. They'll just have this horrible, awful feeling in their
more so
in their
than they already do.
Yes, exactly. So that's why it's so cathartic when it's Lil Rel Howery comes out of the
the cop car.
Yeah, he's just like, it's like TS motherfucking A. I'm like, yeah,
that's the way you end it.
So this movie kind of did like a little bit of a twist on it, and like I guess it would feel good on the surface level, but if you're really thinking about it, it's kind of like a Dune 2 Paul Atreides thing, where you're just like, is he right though?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, fair. I don't know. This movie was a lot. I don't know how much more you got to talk about.
That's it. I mean, I have a little bit on the guy who chose the one who has the black eye. He's just like
the young kid. Yeah.
He's just another kind of Gina Davis type guy, where he's like he chose to do nothing. There's a cool, like, interesting.
But then he
there.
kind of had a moment at the end where he's like, "Oh God, what have I done?" So
yeah, exactly. And then he's also stupid because he's like Channing Tatum's like, "Don't open the door, don't open the door."
Gets shot.
Just shot instantly in the face. It's like fucking loser.
Yep. So yeah, no, this movie very well done, very well crafted, well directed for a debut. Oh my God, I want to see more thriller type stuff from Zoe Kravitz because I hope she does more directing and not just acting. Like, she's a great actress, but fuck, she could do this too and write. She wrote it too, man.
Yep.
Like, she's a good all around entertainer, I guess you would say.
Yeah. I mean, her dad is Lenny fucking Kravitz, dude. You know, dude. And okay, so complete side tangent.
Yeah.
There's this song that Lenny Kravitz made called "Live."
Okay.
And for the life of me, I cannot find it on YouTube. You know why?
Why?
"Live" is spelled the same way that you spell "live." So I type in Lenny Kravitz "Live." It shows a live concert from him, and I can't fucking, like, you know what I mean?
You can say it's Lenny Kravitz "Live" song.
But it'll be live song. It'll think live song, live band playing. I can't find the fucking song, dude.
Is it Spotify?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I haven't looked it up in a while. It was before I had Spotify.
Before you had Spotify, okay.
But yeah,
I got
so
you.
back when I was YouTube, like, I was just trying to find it, and it's like, motherfucker.
I'm just like, bro, there's so many other ways you can look at it.
Right.
So I'm gonna give this movie 78. It's a very good debut. I just don't think there's that much rewatchability with this because it's kind of like in that vein of Get Out. But if you want to go back and find like the little hidden things, like, you know, with the layer, the nails, trying to find out the symbolism, yeah, you can do that. You can easily do that. But yeah, I don't think I'm coming back to this one anytime soon.
Yep, I would say it's like 75 for me.
Yeah,
because pretty much everything he said, like content reasons, definitely not, like, just on a personal level, but that has nothing to do with the quality. I do think it's a little clunky with certain mechanics and characters that kind of make no sense, and like they could have expanded more on Gina Davis and the young kid and stuff. But
spin-off material.
Oh God, no! Sweet Lord, no. But yeah, very good directorial debut, and I'm actually excited to see what else she has.
You know what? Let's look on IMDb, see if she has anything directing coming up, because I'm very curious now. Nothing. Nothing right now. Writer?
Right? Nothing.
Actress, really? She's going back to acting because obviously she's going to have
she's gonna Batman 2.
If she's in it. I mean, kind of.
Yeah, she just left. She could just come back in like episode or movie 3.
She's got a few things on there, but none of them are actually Batman. But yeah, it doesn't look like we'll be getting another directed movie anytime soon. But hey, that'll help us look forward to the next one.
Cool.
So
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, until then. We're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE Beforecast. And X doesn't exist for us anymore.
It doesn't.
So
I got to change the CG.
I just use it to scroll. Anyway.
I'm Danny. It's funny, my daddy's directing the show. He just sent me a bunch of links to probably to Lenny Kravitz. I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was. My letterbox is serialized at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was.
Yeah, all right. Next time, we're taking a break next week, and then we're going to go back to Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
No, why'd you say it 3 times?
I said it twice. You said it.
I said twice as well.
Okay, so we're good.
Say it 3 times total, though.
Don't say Beetlejuice one more time.
Just. Anyway, we'll see you next time.